So what happens when fans who have loved a franchise their whole lives feel like they're watching it get completely destroyed? Well, we're about to dive deep into that. We're breaking down a viral, and I mean scathing, review from the huge YouTube channel The Angry Joe Show. They just reviewed the new Starfleet Academy series, and oh boy, their reaction has started a massive firestorm online.
Right off the bat, they hit you with this. And this isn't just a question, is it? It's a gut punch. You can feel the heartbreak in those words. It's for anyone who's poured years, maybe even decades into a fictional world, only to feel like you're just watching it all burn down. This one question right here, it sets the whole tone for their critique. And yeah, that question wasn't just rhetorical. For the guys at Angry Joe Show, the new Starfleet Academy series is the answer. Their entire review is basically them walking us through exactly what it feels like to see a franchise you love go up in flames, one painful scene at a time. So what's the final verdict? Where do they land on all this? Well, let me tell you, they do not pull any punches. They make it crystal clear, right from the get-go, that Starfleet Academy isn't just a bad show or a misstep. For them, it is the final and complete destruction of the Star Trek they knew and loved, the final nail in the coffin. And this right here, this is the core of their whole argument. They believe that the show's creators just found writing actual Star Trek, with the complex science fiction, the tricky moral questions, the intellectual stuff, was just too hard. So what did they do instead? They allegedly took the easy route, write a generic teen drama and just slap some Star Trek paint on it. As they so brutally put it, it's like dressing up a dead carcass in a Starfleet uniform. Okay, so this leads us to their first huge point of criticism. It's not just that the show is bad Star Trek. In their eyes, it's not Star Trek at all. They argue its whole vibe, the genre, the tone, its very soul, is totally alien to the universe it's supposed to be a part of. And you can really see the massive disconnect they're feeling on this slide. What they expect from Star Trek are these big, hard sci-fi ideas. What they feel like they got was a glowing jump rope. Instead of complex moral dilemmas, they see basic high school angst. The Academy, which should have the best and brightest, is apparently filled with what they call incompetent students, and that formal, almost theatrical mid-galactic speech is gone, replaced with modern slang, like a Romulan saying dude. So if it's not Star Trek, what is it then? Well, the reviewers have a few comparisons, and let's just say none of them are meant as compliments. They call it a wannabe Harry Potter, a CW-style teen drama. They even came up with Heavyweights meets Vampire Diaries. The one thing all these have in common, they argue none of this belongs anywhere near the Star Trek name. And they even bring up an interview where a legacy actor pointed out this exact shift in language, saying the new kids just speak like kids today. For the reviewers, this isn't just some modern update. To them, it's a deliberate dumbing down of the franchise, like they're trying to chase a different audience by getting rid of what made Star Trek, well, Star Trek. But okay, their problems with the show go way deeper than just the genre or the tone. They also argue that the show is just logically broken. It's apparently filled with moments that make absolutely no sense. So let's get into their second major critique, a complete failure of logic. At the very heart of their frustration is the main plot of one of the episodes. And it centers around, get this, a campus-wide prank war. Yep, a prank war. The idea that Starfleet's future leaders, the elite of the Federation, would be caught up in something so juvenile was just, for them, completely unbelievable. It totally undermines what Starfleet is supposed to be. And the examples they list just keep on coming. You've got cadets licking random alien gunk, people getting teleported naked onto the bridge with zero consequences, a tiny Romulan bully somehow intimidating a giant bodybuilder, and my personal favorite, a hologram who screams in terror during laser tag, even though she knows she literally can't be hurt. For them, it's just this constant stream of moments that make no logical sense. And this right here highlights a huge character contradiction that really got under their skin. So at the end of an episode, the captain gives this whole speech about patience and empathy. But earlier in that same episode, she runs into pirates, and her immediate order is, lock phasers, fired everything, kill them immediately. No hails, no warning shots. To the reviewers, that's not a complex character. That's just plain bad writing. All right, so after they've torn apart the genre and the logic of the show, the review takes this really sharp, emotional turn. This is the point where the criticism stops being just about a TV show and becomes something much more personal. This is where they deliver their final, brutal judgment. They straight up admit that they've started hate watching the show. You know, they're not watching it for fun anymore. They're watching out of this morbid curiosity, just to see how much worse it can possibly get. They literally compare it to rubbernecking a train wreck. You know, it's a disaster, but you just can't look away. And this is what it all leads to. In what is honestly the most raw, heartbreaking moment of the whole video, one of the reviewers, a lifelong fan, just says it. He says the new show has poisoned the well so completely that now when he thinks of Star Trek, he just thinks of trash. He doesn't just hate the show. He says he now hates Star Trek itself. So after all the analysis, all the anger, all the heartbreak, it all has to come down to a number, right? This is the final verdict. Let's take a look at how they scored this thing. First up is a 3 out of 10. And for this reviewer, it was simple. A 3 just means bad. No nuance, no redeeming qualities to mention, just bad. Next, we get a 2 out of 10. And the reasoning for this is just bleak. The reviewer says it probably should be a 1, but he's actually saving that lowest possible score because he's convinced a future episode is going to be even worse. And finally, we hit rock bottom, a 1 out of 10. This reviewer is just completely done. He says he doesn't care if a future episode is the greatest thing ever made. He hates the characters, he hates the story, and from this point forward, every single episode is getting a 1. He's officially checked out. And they don't just leave it at a score. Their review isn't just their opinion. It ends as a call to action. They straight up tell their massive audience that if they were looking for a reason to cancel their streaming service, this show is it. I mean, that is the ultimate vote of no confidence. You know, this whole review, as intense as it is, really taps into a much bigger conversation that's happening with so many franchises right now. When you bring back something classic and beloved, where is that line between evolving it for a new time and just completely erasing what made it special in the first place? There are no easy answers, which is probably why this debate is so passionate and so important.